Hello all and welcome back. I hope you're all having a fantastic weekend. Things are still incredibly exciting and frothy over in the crypto markets, and I'm loving every minute of it. If we take a look at the crypto bubbles for the weekly performance, we can see that the majority of the top 100 projects are green across the board, with a lot of the projects that I've spoken about a lot on this channel are doing very well at the moment. We can see XLM or Stellar up 10% on the week, which is fantastic. Hbar up nearly 11% on the week. Again, a brilliant outcome, and I think this is going to continue surging. Said it before, the timing between the Hedera ecosystem explosion that we're going to see, as well as potential altcoin season, are perfectly aligned, which is great news for us. Engine as well, up 15.6%. Quant up nearly 20% on the week. These are all projects that I've covered on the channel multiple times across multiple different videos. And hopefully if you guys have been watching over a long period of time, you would have been paying attention and potentially averaged into some of those positions after doing some of your own research, and you'd be sitting on anywhere between 10 to 20% up from those positions. It just goes to show that the money is really to be made during these bear markets. I know it's hard to put your feelings aside effectively when you're seeing red across the board, but a sound piece of advice that I stick to when in these markets is effectively sell on green days, buy on red days. And if you stick to something as simple as that, you can't really stray too far wrong. There's an honorable mention in here, which I've not really covered in previous videos, but I'll mention now because it has massive potential going out into the future as well. And that's THORChain or Rune. It's been doing very well recently. We can see we're up nearly 2% and a bit on the day, and it's done sort of 10% plus over the week. Now, THORChain Rune, for those of you who haven't come across this before, is a decentralized liquidity protocol that allows users to easily exchange cryptocurrency assets across a range of different networks without losing full custody of their assets in the process. So the idea being is that users can simply swap one asset for another in a permissionless setting without needing to rely on order books to source liquidity. How this differs to a lot of these other cross-bridge applications or projects is effectively that THORChain is completely native. It natively swaps the tokens between the chains without having to create some sort of wrapped token. And going forward into the future, this will become incredibly scalable as an interoperability solution and bridge effectively between different networks. It's a very unique way of solving the problem, at which there isn't really any competitor at the moment that sort of can compete with this type of service, and that's why it is one of the top 50 projects within the space. So this is definitely one to keep an eye on, and actually during some pullbacks I will probably continue to average into this position as I'm quite bullish on the project in general. Speaking of Hbar, the project that we all love over here on this channel in particular, been a fantastic week across the board. Obviously on the hour we're down sort of 1%, but last 24 hours 4.5%, 7 days 11%, 14 days 13% up, and 30 days 8% up now over a 30-day period. So we've been slowly on the uptrend, with obviously all this different news coming out that I've been covering on the channel. The ecosystem is looking incredibly bullish, and it is primed for a breakout. Now, some of you may be wondering, do we have any kind of price predictions for the token and where will it go? In the long term, I think this will be a top 10 or top 5 project, hands down, without a shadow of a doubt. I can't put a number on that or a figure to it, because over the long term, the cryptocurrency markets will continue expanding. So the available liquidity to these projects will grow over time. So you can't just compare them at today's point. However, in the short term, in 2022, if the stars align, so to speak, as I've been mentioning, with projects and an alt season, we will easily see 100% upside, if not more, for Hedera. 50 cents is completely achievable. That's 100% return on investment, and potentially north of $1 per token. So there is massive, massive potential here, potentially a 4x within the space of a year, probably not even that, in the space of a few months. Once total value locked comes to Hedera, everything will change. This is how early we are to this project. You effectively think we are in an ecosystem, a layer 1 ecosystem that currently doesn't have any DeFi or staking protocols available. There are very limited dApps and DEXs. As soon as that goes live, that is what enables and attracts all of the new money effectively into these markets, and it's the early investors that reap the rewards from everything built on top. And as I've mentioned, there are some fantastic projects. We've got SaucerSwap in terms of DEXs. We've got Hedera Starter for DAOs and Launchpads. We've got massive NFT projects such as Dead Pixels that are doing something completely new. as well as others like Hbar Suite and tons of other projects in the space that will completely launch this project into the stratosphere in terms of retail investment, and will bring a bit of that degenerate money, so to speak, to the community, which is great for the price of Hbar tokens. The other thing that's pointing, one of the leading indicators which is showing that we are heading towards an altcoin season, is the fear and greed index is now at a neutral. Obviously, I've covered this since the beginning of this year, back in January, up until today, the end of March, beginning of April, and we have been consistently in extreme fear, and we can see that we've been down here at sort of 20s over quite a decent chunk of 2022, and we're finally starting to come out of that, and we're heading back into neutral territory. As soon as we start getting back into the green, so we go into the bullish territory or the greed territory, is when we will see massive spikes of some of these undervalued projects, and it will be projects like Hbar, Quant, XLM, Engine, probably even THORChain, Rune. Loads of these projects will have a massive pump as we head into that. Just make sure that you're taking profits if you are massively up on a position. These markets retrace very quickly. They are very volatile, and it's very easy to get complacent with your gains. That being said, I will continue to hold positions of Hbar for a long time. I may take some profits here or there just to reinvest as soon as we enter back into a slightly bearish market phase. This is the cyclical nature of markets, whether it's the stock market or cryptocurrencies. They are all the same, so make sure you are playing the game and you don't get burnt. Talking about the general market trends and what's going on at the moment, some really bullish news again for Bitcoin adoption. Don't forget, we talk about Bitcoin a lot on this channel because it is one of the leading indicators for the crypto market. It will be one of the first cryptocurrencies, as it is known as a hedge, for institutions to buy into, and the money flows from Bitcoin into the other projects, for example Ethereum, which then goes down into the altcoins. That's why Bitcoin is still of relevance to crypto investors in general, as it is a macro indicator effectively for the markets. Anyway, Rio de Janeiro will be the first Brazilian city to receive tax payments in Bitcoin and crypto, which is really bullish again. This, continues to inflate that institutional and governmental adoption. And then following on from that, within the span of about 3 hours, the Binance CEO turned around and said they are opening offices in Rio de Janeiro. And if you remember from previous videos, they were talking about buying up banks and payment facilitators in the South American countries. So Binance are doing very big things. I think they are still the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange, and they facilitate billions of dollars worth of transactions. And them opening banks or buying up banks and payment systems is showing how they're trying to integrate themselves into the traditional finance system. And this again is a major step forward for mass adoption of cryptocurrencies. Again, talking about Bitcoin, and one of the reasons it's been pumping very well recently, we're holding that sort of $45,000 mark, is that TERRA now has announced that they now hold nearly $1 billion of Bitcoin. They are the 40th largest holder in the world, and part of that is to support their ecosystem with sort of staking and rewards, and sort of facilitate other DeFi avenues throughout their ecosystem. But again, this is just incredibly bullish. They are buying up tons of these tokens, and don't forget, most of these products have limited supply, and this will just continue to drive the price up, which is again fantastic to see. For those of you who again have been watching my videos, this is probably a good segue to say, make sure you're subscribed. There is tons of information that I put out on this channel for you guys to keep you up in the loop and keep you up to date, so you don't miss out on these opportunities. If we do some sort of holistic review of the content that I've put out over the last sort of 3 to 4 months when I started the channel, there's been some serious alpha you guys could have taken away if you'd done a bit more research off the back of my videos and invested in these projects. Anyway, DOVU being one of them, incredibly bullish use case for Hedera and, for the globe in general in terms of carbon neutrality or negativity in terms of footprints. But the phase 2 staking will be opening tomorrow. Make sure you guys are signed up. There are links over on their Twitter. I will try and leave the link in the description for you guys as well. Do not forget, if you have bought DOVU via the Binance Smart Chain, unfortunately staking will not be available to us because Hashport has not integrated BSC with the HTS yet. If you own DOVU over on the Ethereum chain, then you will be able to stake your tokens via Hashport into Hashport them to HTS, and then you can stake early in this pool. I will release a video as soon as Hashport starts looking at the Binance Smart Chain. I will be releasing a video so that people can stake their tokens. The alternative is, because we've had a nice bit of price appreciation on DOVU tokens, and if you are in it for the long term, you may consider selling all of your tokens on the Binance Smart Chain and repurchasing them when the gas fees drop over on Ethereum slightly, potentially in the middle of this year. That may be a play that I look to do as Ethereum moves to ETH 2.0 and proof of stake. That should drastically lower the gas fees. If there isn't a Binance Smart Chain hashport solution around that sort of time, I may consider effectively bedding those positions, effectively selling them off and rebedding them in the Ethereum network. But we'll see. I will keep you guys in the loop on that one. Again, talking about that, DOVU has had some massive price appreciation. I think I'm up sort of 30 to 40%, and I was buying around when I was making these videos. It's something that, I will maintain on this channel indefinitely. It's complete transparency with what I'm doing. All of the projects I speak about, I'm not paid to shield them whatsoever. I just sort of enjoy them, and I'm just giving you guys the heads up on what I'm kind of looking at and what I think is or has big potential. I'm not going to be one of these sort of sleazy guys that's just trying to rug pull you, because it's just bollocks. Anyway, talking about staking rewards and sort of stayed at Hbar, we are about 10 days away now from the first week of April, where they're rumored, or they have said they will be going live. I haven't released this over on Twitter yet because, as I said, I don't want to spread misinformation, and the APY staking rewards have not been confirmed. We will see when the platform goes live. However, taking some of the information we've seen from the teaser trailer that Stader released, Hedera looks like it will have one of the highest, if not the highest, staking rewards of the current layer 1 ecosystem or space. Obviously, I've got Ethereum and Bitcoin in there. You can see their asterisks because they're proof of work networks. They're not technically proof of stake. However, you can obviously earn an APY yield via DeFi alternative platforms. So I've kind of got them in there as a bit of a measure for comparison effectively. But we can see the only other network that really sort of comes close is Polkadot with a 14% APY. We've got Algorand sitting at roughly 10. AVAX is about 9. Solana somewhere around 6. Cardano at 5%, Ethereum, depending on which platform you use, 3.75, Polygon very low at 3%, and then Bitcoin roughly as well at 2.9%. So this could be a major signal or deciding factor that enables Hedera to really start getting into the hands of retail, and that's just the fact that there are massive rewards to be had from holding Hbar tokens, and we could see some increased demand via this once Stader goes live, especially because of how easy the ecosystem looks to navigate. So it's definitely a watch this space kind of moment. Some more bullish news as well, as Dubai's largest real estate developer, Hbar, is now accepting Bitcoin as well as other cryptocurrencies. When we talk about these real estate developers as well, don't forget that they are million, if not billion pound operations. So accepting Bitcoin to facilitate millions of pounds or millions of dollars of purchases is incredible, and again just shows the world or the direction in which we're heading with cryptocurrencies in general. Some more news around Elon Musk as well, as Elon has been talking about on his Twitter recently about either buying positions or stakes within Twitter or starting his own social media platform. And obviously they jokingly say here about a Dogecoin tip jar. Elon responded to this tweet with the 100 symbol, but it just goes to show as well, he is fully engaged in the crypto sphere. If we see these social medias come through, we could have lots of different stuff available to us through them, which again is very bullish for the space. Elon is a massive figure globally anyway, so great stuff to see. One of the final things that I wanted to touch on, if you guys are from the UK, is that Britain is revealing crypto regulation plans in the coming weeks. Obviously, I touched on some stuff and information from HMRC probably about a week or so, maybe 2 weeks ago now, where they're talking about the tax implications for staking, for example, where they were going to treat it as disposal of an asset, which would be very bad news for us in the UK. However, the Financial Conduct Authority had a bit of a differing opinion on that. So it's strange to see the FCA and HMRC having differing opinions. Potentially the information we'll see in the coming weeks will shed some light and clarity effectively on that. However, I will inform you guys of any legislation changes that do come through, as I know a portion of you guys are from the UK anyway, and also it's very important for us to stay within the realms of the legal territories that we live within, and make sure we are effectively following the law. They're there for a reason, unfortunately. last article that I wanted to touch on for you guys as well is that, just to round up how bullish the crypto markets are at the moment, is Bitcoin is currently on track to see its highest weekly close of 2022. 7-day gains nearing 9% have put Bitcoin price action firmly ahead of every other week so far this year. We've seen a fresh spike to near $45,000 overnight into March 27th, as the weekend looks set to deliver a decisively bullish close. Weekly close is very important. As we've seen before, higher levels are seen days previously after rejection at just above the $45,000 mark, while still within its extended trading range of $46,000 at a ceiling. The pair was firmly still on the radar of long-term traders as the weekly close draws near being Bitcoin's highest of the year so far. So if we have a weekly breakout, effectively, as I've said before, we've got this trickling effect that goes on. Bitcoin may go on a bit of a run again as it goes back into sort of price discovery territories. There's been no resistance around these sort of levels for the last 3 months or so. So there is some serious money coming to the markets. Anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure you're subscribed. Make sure you're following me over on Twitter. The community is growing at a really nice pace, and there is going to be a ton, and I promise you, a ton of content coming from me regarding the Hedera ecosystem as soon as all the DEXs, incubators, everything that goes live on the Hashgraph system. We're going to have a hell of a time in the coming months. Make sure you're all ready. Anyway, cheers for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Bye bye.